Hello and welcome back for this week's review of American Horror Story Apocalypse, episode 4, season 8. I would like to do something similar to what I did last week. Instead of doing a full rundown of everything that happened in the episode, I'd like to just talk about the main points of the episode and just like throw in some theories that I have here and there and some questions that I have about these characters in this episode. This episode really did a lot to show us what it was like before the Outpost was an outpost and when it was a wizardry school. We got to see how Michael Langdon even got involved with this place in the first place. Like, how did he even find out about this outpost, or why did this place even become an outpost? And we go back 3 years before the bomb and we see, you know, basically that it's a wizardry school. It's like Hogwarts. It's like Hogwarts in America. American Hogwarts. And here come all the players, all the people who, you know, are going to be very important later on. And I'm pretty sure, you know, we're going to see how Michael Langdon got rid of all of them. But in this episode, we welcome back Cheyenne Jackson to the cast of American Horror Story. And he's playing the character Sean. And Sean is a little bit skeptical about letting this stranger who exhibits these weird and unusual powers into their school in the first place. However, the Dumbledore of this wizardry school was Ariel. He feels like this could be their alpha, and the alpha could overthrow the supreme, and it would be great if there's an alpha instead of a supreme, because then the men can determine what happens in the witch and wizard world. However, Cordelia is a little bit hesitant about even testing to see if Michael Langdon could possibly be alpha, because she believes that the testosterone is an inhibitor for a lot of the powers that he would need to pass the test. And she did not want to, like, basically give him a death sentence because of what happened with Misty. However, Michael Langdon took it upon himself to do some other things. Cordelia isn't the only one who's hesitant to allow Michael Langdon into the school in the first place. Sean is very hesitant. He thinks that the powers that Michael displays are demonic and they should leave him the F alone. However, Ariel really wants this alpha to be a part of the school, and he lets him in. Michael Langdon is a student at this wizardry school, and they need him to prove his powers. In order for him to prove his powers, he basically turned the room into a winter wonderland and let it snow inside. Staying true to Michael's character, it has to turn dark. So instead of just letting it snow inside, he made it freezing cold. And that was basically how Michael proved to them that he was a wizard, or he proved to them that he had powers, basically, because he still didn't prove that he was a wizard. He just has powers. So they allow him into the school, and finding out after Michael finds out that he was being basically denied the test to even see if he could be an alpha, he takes it upon himself to prove that he is even better than the Supreme, and he tried to get Queenie back. Our story, they tried to touch on certain social topics that we see in the news all the time. They tried to talk about the patriarchy and how it works differently in the witch world, or the world of wizardry and witchcraft, where there's basically a supreme who leads this whole world, and the supreme is obviously a woman. And they talk about how the gender roles really play into that society, but there's also a racial factor. They talk about how Queenie was probably left behind at the Cortez because she was just a black girl and they didn't they didn't care about saving the black girl. And then they touched a little bit on police brutality based on how the detective was treating Michael during his interrogation. He was beating on Michael and just treating him completely bad. So they tried to incorporate all these little issues into like about 5 minutes. Just pouncing on these issues, just going through real quick. And I don't even know where we are right now. Oh, but getting back to the main meat of the situation, Michael Langdon is here doing what Cordelia couldn't, and he was able to go into the Hotel Cortez because Cordelia's main problem with getting Queenie out of the Hotel Cortez was because it was just so dark and demonic in that place that she was not able to even use her powers to get Queenie out. So she basically had to leave Queenie behind to play cards with James Marsh, my favorite guy. James Marsh, she did a cameo in this, you know. James Marsh had to show his face, you know, because his beautiful face and his beautiful voice. But Queenie was able to leave the Hotel Cortez because of Mr. Michael Langdon. Michael Langdon comes in, and immediately James March realized that, hey, Queenie isn't coming back this time. Every time that Cordelia tried, she couldn't get Queenie out. However, he's like, this time it's different. You gotta go. Like, he knows, like, I don't think you have a choice if you can stay or not. And he took the cards and he's like, I guess it's solitaire. So he knows he's gonna have to play by himself from now on. So after Michael goes and save Queenie, he had to go and save none other than Madison Montgomery, who is living in her own personal hell, being a cashier and having no one recognize her and have them think that she is Lindsay Lohan. And apparently that's the worst thing that could happen to Madison. She have to do a hard day work because, you know, true bratty Madison's fashion, you know, she cannot do hard work. And Michael comes in and saves her from her personal hell and takes her, and they are walking towards the Outpost, which is the wizardry school at this point. And at the same time, Cordelia, Myrtle, and Zoe are leaving the Outpost. They are leaving the wizardry school, and Cordelia comes out and she sees him. And she sees Queenie and Zoe, and she faints because she's like, oh shit. It's like all the power that she had just dissipates because here's an alpha who was able to do something that she failed at doing. Here's a wizard who was able to do something that she couldn't do, and she is the most powerful witch. Cordelia fainting is kind of like... So I don't know if there's some sort of transfer of power once there's an alpha, the alpha reigns and the supreme just loses her power. I don't know exactly what happens. Like, does the supreme have to give her power to the alpha, or can they live simultaneously, a supreme and an alpha? How does that work? Exactly. With all this wizardry thing coming in, and the fact that they allowed Michael Langdon into the wizardry school, it makes me think that Mallory is a wizard. I think one of the wizards are inside of Mallory, and that's the reason why she feels like there's something trying to crawl to the top of like her personality. There's something that's trying to come out that wasn't there before. I think that one of the wizards are inside of Mallory, and it's not Queenie or Zoe or even Misty. It's a wizard. I don't know which one. It could be Ariel or Sean. I feel like it would be one of the most powerful ones because I feel like that's how they would survive. Being more powerful, they could probably use an incantation or something to put themselves into just a random girl, and that's the reason why Madison Montgomery remembered that person. And whoever is inside of Mallory, it could be one of the wizards that she met while she was there. So my theory basically is that Mallory is a wizard. She's not a witch, and that's the reason why the powers are different with Mallory. She's not like the rest of the witch. She's a special witch, and because she's not a witch, she's a wizard. It's just a wizard inside of Mallory's body, and it's trying to get out, and it's trying to use all its powers. I don't know. It could even be the one boy who is always late to class. Maybe he was late again and he survived by being late, and his spirit went into Mallory, and somehow he doesn't have a full understanding of his powers because he's just been fiddling with his wand instead of learning how to do spells. I was pretty off last week when I said that Mallory could have known Madison Montgomery because of the crowd she ran with and because she worked for Coco. I'm like, that's probably not what happened. However, I believe that she is a wizard, and that's how she met Madison Montgomery. In true Madison form, Madison probably slept with that dude. Like, we all see that she was fiending for it with how she was acting towards Michael Langdon. She was ready to give him everything and give him the all like, Madison was just aching for it, okay? So it could have been a wizard at that school. Tell me, have a conversation down below in the comment section. Do you think Mallory is a wizard? Is it possible that the guy who was late supposedly got into her body because he was late for class and he wasn't there when Michael was doing all the killing? Or do you think it's Ariel or Sean or some other wizard that got into her body? Is it possible that she's a wizard? And do you think, since Michael was going around and reviving everyone and taking them from their personal hell, do you think that's what's going to happen to Emily and Timothy? Let me know down in the comment section. Anyway, thanks for watching, and once again, I hope you're having a good day or night or whatever.